And this method also called a comprehension approach. And the reason why we call it like that, because the importance that TPR gives to the listening comprehension, the importance of understanding what is the teacher talking about. In 1960, James Asher, the author of this method, he said that if we want to learn a foreign language, the learning process, going to be start with understanding the language and end with protecting the language. So students, if they want to learn a foreign language, first they need to understand how is the language works, and then they will produce sound, words, phrases, and so on. And also, when students internalizes how is the target language works, is speaking going to appear spontaneously. So how does that mean? Just like an infant, a kid, a baby, who acquires its native language, he will spend a lot of time, a lot of months, listening to people around him, maybe months or 2 years. So suddenly, in the beginning, the student's going to be totally silent. They will never speak, just like infant, a kid. After a while, after then, his speaking is going to appear spontaneously, automatically, naturally, and intuitively. And this method, based on 3 steps. In the classroom, what would the teacher do? First, he will give a speech, he will give a command, and act the command. So the teacher here is just like an actor. For example, the teacher said, I wipe the board. What would he do? He will wipe the board. Now students, before I saying that, they don't know what wipe means. But after I said I wipe the board, and I wiped it, that now they know that wiping is something I do just like that. This is the meaning of response to the teacher. Second, the teacher will command the students, he will give a speech, and students will respond to the teacher physically by a whole body action. So the teacher he's going to give the speech, and the student's going to be like an actor and respond to the teacher. The third step, the teacher will give a command to the students, so that the students command another person to respond to the teacher. So here we have students speaking and another students acting with you. This is the introduction of this method. Now let's go to the observation of this method. First, the teacher gives the command in the target language and performs the action with the students. What does it mean? The teacher gives a command like I'm hungry, and the response would be just like that. This is movement mean that I'm hungry. So now students know that when I do that, so I'm hungry. This is the response. And it's very useful because it means that the target language, the foreign language, can be conveyed through actions. I can teach you English, for example, just by actions. I will translate the target language to actions. And the teacher here will address the right part, the right hemisphere of the brain, because this part is responsible for the movement of the body. Is responsible for the non-verbal behavior of the students. And this target language going to be presented by chunks, not just word by word. Pieces. The second observation. In the beginning, just like I have said, students say nothing. They will be totally silent because their understanding should be developed first before speaking. So they will understand the target language for a few weeks, and then they will try to speak. The speaking it's not the important thing we have to do first. We have to understand the language, to comprehend it. The third observation, the teacher sits down and issues a command to the students, to the volunteer. The volunteer, the students who want to participate with the teacher. So for example, I give a command to Shemis in speech, and Shemis will respond to me silently without speaking, but she will respond to me physically. For example, I tell her to come here and wipe the board. She will come silently without speaking because she can't speak, but she do understand what I'm talking. She will come here and wipe the board. So this is And also, the teacher will direct students' behavior. He also can tell them what he is expecting from them. For example, he tells the students that, for example, how are you? And put his hand behind his ear. That means he's expecting something from them. They understand what is the teacher talking about. The fourth observation, the teacher also issues a command, direct the students other than volunteers. The students who doesn't participate, because if you want to learn a language, not just by acting with the teacher, just you can learn the language by observing the acting between the teacher and the volunteer. Also, another observation, the teacher says, jump on the desk. The students here laughs. What does it mean? It's really effective when the learning process is fun and joyful. Okay? And another observation, correction, the observation of correction. So if some students made mistakes, made error, how would the teacher correct them? He will repeat the speech. For example, I tell Shams to come here and wipe the board. And Shams came and write down on the board, and this is wrong. What would I do? I will repeat the speech. I say, I will wipe the board, and I will wipe it. So now she knew that she correct her information about wiping. Sorry. Also, the teacher gives a new command in the target language to students they have never heard before, because the students have to develop their flexibility of understanding and comprehension the target language terms. Also, another observation, the teacher writes down a new command on the board, because the spoken language should be emphasized on a written language. So the students now know the picture of the word, the picture of the action of the word, and so on. Now let's go to the principles. First, what is the goal of the teacher? The goal of the teacher, he wants the students to enjoy their experience of learning to communicate in other language. He wants them to be enjoyed about learning to communicate, and also to reduce the stress, because to reduce the stress and anxiety, to increase their proficiency and ability to speak. This is the goal of the teacher. The role of the teacher, he is here the director of students' behavior, and he directs them, he tells them what they have to do, and the role of the teacher, the students, they are just like an imitators for the non-verbal behavior for the student and the teacher. At some point, when student he is ready to speak, he will be the director to the teacher and other students. The last principle, the nature interaction between teacher and students. The interactions, the teacher is speaking first, the teacher is speaking, and the students respond to the teacher non-verbally. And after a while, when students can try to speak, they will speak, they will give a speech, and the teacher will be the response of them non-verbally. That's all. Thank you.